Accepting pain is part of being a human. But it sucks. Let's just be honest. Hello, everyone. We should have been recording earlier because while we were getting set up, Kat and I were discussing how angry I am at perimenopause.
Yes.
And how, Kat, who's 2.5 years older, 3 years older than me, has like no symptoms.
Yeah, so far. It's coming.
She's fine.
Well, except brain fog. I'm like an idiot.
Well, you're not an idiot, but the brain fog thing, I could win.
I don't know.
I could win.
I don't know.
If there was a stupidity contest,
yeah,
I
do you
could
want to
win.
have a contest? We should
Yes.
have we should have
Yes.
who's got the foggiest brain contest.
Stupider contest.
Yeah. Oh, this sounds fun.
No, the perimenopause. This is not the topic of today's episode, by the way, but just for anybody listening, I just want to let you know you're not alone and it does suck. It's awful. It's so freaking annoying and I hate it. And today's episode is about how to accept the things we can't control. And I don't want to accept this. Anyway, let's get into the topic. But yeah, just I hope that anyone listening to any of these, like if there's one thing I want you to get out of this podcast is just to feel less alone. So there you go. If you turn this on during a hot flash,
Perfect.
I love you.
Yep.
Okay, today we're going to talk about a topic that I still struggle with, but I think is really important. And I have worked on, and I feel like I've made some progress. And I don't know if this is what we'll call the episode, but the words that come to mind is when life throws us crap. And I think we've all been there.
Yep.
Like we really feel that, or at least I felt that if you work hard and you do the right thing and, you know, you make good choices, like the things are supposed to work out.
You would think.
You would think.
But that's not how it works.
No. Life throws a lot of unexpected surprises our way. And it's so easy to get stuck in that.
And I think it's also easy to think you did something wrong.
Yeah. I actually wrote down something that I wrote because I wanted to mention it, that I wrote in my first book, Hold On But Don't Hold Still. I wrote, the fantasy I created for my life was always going to set me up for failure. Even if I hadn't gone through divorce or struggled financially or emotionally or all the other stuff, a fantasy is by its very nature unrealistic. And when we create unrealistic expectations and fail to meet them, we feel guilty and inadequate. And I think that's the problem, right? Is like life throws us this stuff and then we blame ourselves and we think there's something wrong with us. Instead of going, whoa, like the way I expected it all to turn out was a fantasy. There's nothing wrong with me. Something was wrong with the fantasy, the expectation. So I've thought about some stories in my life that were really powerful that taught me to just accept what is. And I think where I struggle, and tell me if you struggle with this too, Kat, is I've mentioned before on here that I have struggled with my control freak tendencies and I've gotten better at it. But still, when you are the type of person who tends to want to and need to control, it's very hard to handle life throwing you unexpected stuff because things feeling out of control are very hard for a control freak, right?
Well, I think everybody feels that. And I think it all comes down to like the serenity prayer. I'm sure you've heard that before, right? Yes. You know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so that's the thing. How do you know the difference?
Well, and also that first part, read just the first part again.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
And I think that was my problem for a long time and still sometimes creeps up of like the rebellious side of me that's like, oh, you think I can't change that? Watch me. Watch me, you know. And then what I do is I suffer through it and I try to change it and then I start going crazy and then I blame myself that I can't change it. What's wrong with me? Instead of going, no, some things just suck. I mean, great example, sad example that I think a lot of people unfortunately can relate to. I know you can relate to when I had my miscarriage, right? And, you know, there is nothing I could do. That is one of those things life throws your way. There's nothing you can do. Did I go through the thing that I think most women unfortunately go through of Was it me? Did I do something
course.
wrong? Did I not eat well? Or did I, yes. And then we made a whole video about it, and I need to repost it probably like every week because miscarriages happen so often, for all the women to hear that it's not your fault.
No,
That was the theme of that
definitely
video.
not.
But that's a sad and good, unfortunately, example of life throwing something your way that absolutely is out of your control.
Right.
And the only thing I learned I could control in that is how I'm going to treat myself through that. And that even now, that kind of makes me emotional because I know I could have been kinder to myself throughout it. But, there are so many things, even right now, people listening, somebody just lost their job. And it might not be their fault. In fact, in a lot of times, most times, it's not actually their fault. Like something's going on with the company, they're downsizing, whatever, right? Or somebody's child just got diagnosed with something really scary and complicated and unfamiliar to you. Or somebody just found out that their spouse is cheating or is leaving them, or somebody just made the decision that they need to leave an unhealthy relationship. And that is the only healthy choice. And even though you are the one making the choice, it's still something life threw your way that you didn't expect to have to make this choice, right? Like there's so many things. Somebody just lost a child, right? Somebody just buried a child. I mean, there's so many awful, awful things. And as humans, having to constantly accept the pain is really freaking annoying and hard. And I get that, like, it's part of being a human. Accepting pain is part of being a human. But it sucks. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely.
It sucks.
Yeah. And I think what I'm hearing you say, though, is that there are some things you can control. So control the things you can control, like how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
Or how you treat other people. Or what choices you can make.
Yeah. I mean, that as a control freak, that's something I've been working on is I've told myself, you don't have to stop being a control freak. You just need to choose wisely what you will control.
Yes.
So be a control freak when it comes to how you treat yourself. Control that. Control that, Kristina.
Control the heck out of that.
Yeah. Be so freaking good to yourself. Give yourself so much grace and forgiveness. And, like we just talked before we started recording about perimenopause and some other health issues that I'm going through. And like even the last, I don't know how many weeks, I would stay in bed longer. I have really bad nausea in the morning. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother episode. And I've stayed in bed and then I start feeling guilty of like, oh my gosh, it's 10 a.m. I'm still in bed. Granted, I'm not just laying in bed. Like I'm working from my computer in bed, but I still feel lazy. And finally going, no, this is what I'm going to control right now. I can't control the nausea. Doctors are trying to figure out what's causing this. By the way, not pregnant. But what I can control right now is going, you're allowed to stay in bed till 10 a.m.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. You're not lazy. You're taking care of your body. Like just giving myself that grace. This is what I realized. Choosing to embrace what is instead of pining for what I wish it was or what I thought it should be or whatever. Choosing to embrace what is has saved me from feeling like I'm losing in life. And that is sort of the motivating factor for me of not constantly trying to fight everything life throws my way. Because it always that fight always leaves me feeling like I'm losing in life. So I want to share a couple stories from my life that I think will be relatable to different people in different ways. When I was newly divorced and, going through my hard time, and people, if you've listened, you've heard the story a million times, I really struggled financially. My oldest son, Luca, was turning 4. I think you know this story, although I don't think I've ever shared this story. I think I wrote about it in my first book, but haven't talked about it in any videos. So when he was 4 years old, his dream was to be a mailman.
Oh.
He wanted to be a mailman. And I'm still hoping he will be one because then I can guarantee my mail will arrive on time. But he's almost 23 and it looks like he's going to take a different path. Anyway, he really wanted to be a mailman. And we had just gone to a bunch of parties, like birthday parties from his friends and neighbors. And I don't know what happened to birthday parties because they didn't look like this when I was a kid. But parents are like taking out second mortgages.
Right?
Like it's crazy. And I just wanted to throw him a great party, but I did not have money to hire crazy entertainment, to do crazy party favors, to do, spend hundreds of dollars in decorations. And so what I did is I went to the 99-cent store. I don't even know if those exist anymore. Now they're probably like $10 store, and that's a bargain.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a 99-cent store. And they had these big boxes of envelopes. And I basically, my best friend, Joe, who lives in Rhode Island, flew in because she knew I was like having a hard time. And we stayed up all night and we wrote fake addresses and names on these envelopes. And we we strung them together with a little, I forget, like yarn or something, whatever I had around. And we just hung them on the ceiling, and there were all these like envelopes. I probably spent $3 on like 3 boxes, and it was a ton of envelopes. And it was so beautiful. It was just these envelopes. And I was like, okay, that's cute for a decoration. And then I was like, no, that's not, like, how do I make this party special? So I talked to my mailman and I said, hey, I know this is weird, but Saturday I'm having a party for my son. I'm planning on having a party. This is before I even scheduled it. I want to know when you usually come to this street. And I'm wondering, could you give me even 5-10 minutes, and I will plan the party around whenever you deliver mail.
Yes.
Could you stop by, and you will be like the special guest of honor, and just come say hi and give Luca a hug. Like, that's it. And it was this sweet old man. He was so sweet. And he was like, I'd love to. Not only did he show up, he didn't tell me that ahead of time what he was going to do. He showed up with all this post office gear. Like, he had a hat for Luca, like a mailman hat that he brought. I could cry right now. He brought a bunch of stamps. Like, he brought him all these gifts. Anyway, this party ended up being such a memorable, like, fun, unique, like, who has an actual mailman show up to a party, right? It was so fun. But it's one of those moments I think back on in my life. Life threw me a really hard situation, right? I didn't have money. I was a very young mom. I had my kids when I was 24, my daughter when I was 25. And just felt like, financial stress and divorce and, now all these other parents are throwing these amazing parties and my kid's not going to, like, everything felt out of my control. And when I chose to control what I could, which was, let's make the best of what is. Again, let's stop pining for what we wish it would be, what we thought let's just make the best of what is. It ended up being good enough. And this is kind of, I almost feel like an ongoing theme with my videos and my podcasts and my books of like, the best you can do in any situation is usually more than good enough. And that actually, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say, it sounds like actually by making the choices you did to choose what you could control, it was very empowering for you in that hard time.
That's the other thing. Sorry, I got really excited. I was like, that's the other thing. That's the other thing, right? It's when you're trying to fight something that's out of your control, all it does is leave you feeling weak. But when instead you go, this is a situation, how am I actually going to make the best out of this? Even though it's not ideal, all of a sudden you're like, I'm a badass. I'm a freaking superhero. I'm Mother of the Year, right?
Yep.
And I think just that reminder is so important.
Yes.
Do you remember the story of the Croatian wedding?
I love this story.
When I do my speaking gigs, sometimes I share this story, and it's one of my favorite stories. And I do feel like it's helped shape me because I was young. So for those of you that don't know, I was born and raised in Croatia, and my family immigrated to the U.S. during the war in Croatia. Eventually, they all moved back. So when I was 16, we were already living in the U.S., but we would still go back every summer, even though like it wasn't safe there. We went back every summer. And when I was 16, that summer, my former babysitter, who was also my dad's secretary years ago, we had known her forever, she was getting married. And she asked me to play piano at her wedding, which I think is really funny because I'm not a good piano player. But I feel like my life sort of has been that way, where I get thrown into these situations I'm not prepared for. It's kind of an interesting thing.
Handy. It's
a funny trick life has been playing on me. Yeah. And so I am all excited about this wedding. She was one of those people. I mean, I knew her from when she was a teenager and I was like a little girl. She was one of those girls that fantasize about her wedding. You know, some girls are like, I can't wait for my dress. And like, she had the plan. And I just remember her like always just talking about these details of what she wanted in her wedding. Like she really, this was something that was important to her over the years, right? So finally she meets this wonderful man and they get engaged and she's got all these plans, right? And she's got the flowers picked out and she's got the caterer and everything is going to be the way her fantasy has been for all those years from when she was a kid. So we find out I think it was the day before the wedding that there was going to be this huge battle. It's actually a historic battle. It's now her wedding day is actually a holiday in Croatia.
Wow.
But it was going to be this big thing and, you know, everybody needed to take shelter and everything was going to be shut down.
Oh my God.
So I figured they're going to cancel the wedding, obviously, right? And they're like, no, we are so sick of this stupid war. We are so sick of all this chaos. We are so sick of all of this controlling our lives. We're going through with this wedding. We've planned this wedding. We're going through this wedding. Okay, the best man could not be at the wedding because he got called in to like fight. And everything shut down. Like all of the things that were planned, the flowers, like everything is shut down. And they're like, no, we don't care. We're still going through it. So I remember we were at the church and it was like a very short, quick ceremony because there were like literal, you know, grenades being thrown. Like we could like hear awful sounds. Quick ceremony. And then the reception ended up being in the basement of the church. And people just brought food, like guests brought food. And nothing was as she planned. She didn't have all the beautiful details. But man, that wedding was so fun. It was so incredible. Like, no, if somebody just had like a video of that and maybe had been able to like cut out the sounds of, you know, grenades and things outside, you would never know that there was all this chaos happening. There was so much joy. There was so much love. My best friend at the time, this boy named Emil, and I did this funny skit about marriage. And, you know, it was just like this joyous, beautiful time. And then when it was over, we moved the tables. And I don't know if anybody left to go home. From what I remember, most of us stayed. And I remember we all like lay down like next to each other like sardines and spent the night there because there was, you know, it was too dangerous to go drive home. I think about that so often now as an adult. I don't think it even hit me in the moment. Like I was 16 and I was worried about other things. And the metaphor of it, right? Like didn't even hit me till later of when life throws bombs, grenades our way. Maybe not literal ones, hopefully, right? But metaphoric ones. The financial struggles, the divorce, your child is sick, the miscarriage, whatever it is. When life throws these unexpected bombs our way, we have a choice, right? We're either going to be like, well, that's it. I give up. Everything sucks. It's awful. We're going to try to control it. And we can't. We can't. And it's only going to trying to control it is only going to leave us feeling stuck and like losers. Yeah. Or we can do the most empowering thing. Accept what is and make the best of that. And what that did for that couple, accepting what is, not trying to control it, and making the best of it, gave them this beautiful, joyous, loving wedding that I guarantee you everybody who was there looks back on and they don't think of the chaos and the sadness. They think, what a beautiful time with people that we love. That is the key. And so that's what I try to look back on. I'm like, how lucky am I? How fortunate am I that I got to be a part of that? That I got to actually experience that joy and love and see what can happen when we stop trying to fight everything that's out of our control and just accept what is and make the best of that.
That's such a great story.
I mean, that's the key, I think.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't have the flowers. She didn't have the catering, but she had everybody, the people, the love, people bringing food, potluck.
Yeah. And I think that's also what happens when we accept what is. we actually realize what actually matters, right? Like, let's say that day, there was no attack on our city. It was completely peaceful and she got everything her way. It still would have been a beautiful wedding. But this forced her and all of us to focus on what actually matters. It's not about the freaking cake. It's not about the right? Like, all that was left when everything else was stripped away, all that was left was people that love you. All that was left was joy and music and dancing and celebrating. My gosh, like, how many times do we allow, because we're constantly trying to control everything, right? How many times do we allow those unimportant things to actually distract us from what actually matters?
True.
And maybe sometimes, and I'm not saying that the awful things that happen in your life, I hate the whole, like, it was meant to be, or whatever people say. I don't believe that. But sometimes I think it's good for us to have reminders of what actually matters. And it's sad that we humans sometimes need really dramatic things to sort of help us strip all that other stuff away and go, whoa, what actually, like, at the end of the day, at the end of our life, when we're on our deathbed,
right?
No one's going to think about their wedding cake. No one's going to think about the flowers at their wedding, but they might think about the people who were there.
Yes.
They might think about that feeling of joy and love and connection.
So true.
I heard something that I actually found annoying, but I think is good. I think it's good. It was a video on Instagram, and I can't even tell you who it was. I'm sorry for not giving this person credit. And they said that when life throws something their way that they don't like, the crap, right?
Yes.
They started saying, yes, thank you. And just as a way, okay, I accept that. I think the example he used in the video was, my flight got canceled. Yes, thank you. And I was like, yeah, I would be pissed.
Right.
Like, I don't want to say yes, thank you. But then I thought about it more and I thought, well, what can you do if your flight's canceled? You can go argue with them. They're not going to be like, okay, we uncancel it now because you yelled at us. Right? Like, what can you do? So again, hate to use a sad example, but let's just go there because flight canceled is not as bad as a miscarriage.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Not as a, yay, I'm celebrating, this is great, because I think suppressing our feelings or pretending that things, we don't feel certain things, I don't think that's healthy. But just as a way to accept, like, yes, I accept it.
I also feel like the thank you, having had a miscarriage, the thank you could be, yes, thank you for the positive things in my life. Thank you for the opportunity to have been pregnant for a little while. Thank you for my children that I do have. Thank you for my husband that I love. Thank you for that I'm safe. Yeah. There's a lot of things you can be thankful for, even in bad times. Everybody's going to have bad times.
I like that perspective because I was thinking of it, and I think even the way that guy said it in the video was, yes, thank you for this hardship. Let it teach me something, or let me. But I like that, which is hard. Let's just let's not be those cheesy magnets on people's fridges, right? Like it freaking sucks when something awful happens. So it's hard to be thankful for it. Although there's a lesson there, right? Sure. But I like your perspective of, yes, I accept it, but I'm not going to sit in it. Like, let me also be thankful for the other things in my life that are good. Because let's be honest, when something bad happens, like, I'm not going to get into the details of this, but recently I had a big career financial hit that basically being punished for something I didn't do. It was just a very annoying situation. And it consumed me. It consumed me because it wasn't even the money part. It was the, being blamed for something.
I think you should be clear. Without saying exactly what it is, you lost probably $50,000 from something that wasn't your fault.
Yeah, it's a mess. The whole thing, it was a mess. And I think what bothered me, the financial thing obviously is awful. Yes. But what bothered me even more, I think, was the unfairness of it. Like, I didn't do anything. I felt like I'm being imprisoned for a crime I didn't commit, kind of thing. And I didn't even realize, I don't think, until this happened, how much Luca, my oldest, and I are like, because he's very much like, wants things to be fair. He hates when things are unfair. And I'm like, I guess he got that from me, because I'm like having a hard time accepting this. But my point is, it consumed me. It fully consumed me. And so you're right. What you say about the yes, thank you. And my husband has helped me sort of have this perspective of like, okay, yes, this sucks. This is not your whole life. This is not your whole career. This is not our whole bank account. Thankfully, it would have been years ago when I was really struggling, right? Like, we're not going to be on the street. I want to work on the yes, thank you. I want to actually, and maybe that's a good challenge for everyone listening. What if we try to say that, actually, not just thinking, but actually say it out loud when something really completely out of our control happens? Just say, yes, thank you. And maybe that'll just rewire our brain to stop fighting so hard. Fighting things that are not fightable, right? Is such a waste of our energy.
Well, maybe the yes, thank you could be yes, and thank you that I don't have to control this right now. Yes, thank you that I will be a better person from this one day. Yes, thank you that one day this will be over. I don't know, there's lots of ways to say yes, thank you.
I think that first one that you said, yes, and thank you that I don't have to control this. Whoo! Like, what a lesson for control freak. Like, guess what? This is a part you don't have to control. By the way, you also can't. So you don't really have a choice. But that's a good practice. I want to share the statue story.
Yes,
definitely
do.
I mentioned the war in my homeland, Croatia, before. And there was, this is one of my favorite pieces. So I'm going to show it. And if you're listening to the podcast on the app, Hope and Humor app, you can see this. I will post a clip of this on my social media so that people can actually see it. So if you're listening to this podcast, check out my social media in the next few days and I'll post this clip. But there is this statue that is, so there's been a couple of fires. I live in California where we've had to evacuate. Other than like my children, this is the first thing I grab because it's really meaningful to me. But during the war in my homeland, Croatia, there was this man in my city, Osijek, that would go around after an attack on our city, and he would look for shrapnel from grenades that were thrown in our city. And he would pick them up and collect them. And these were shrapnel he found in places where homes were destroyed, where people were murdered, children were murdered. Just awful, awful, awful stories you can hear from any war, unfortunately. He would pick up the shrapnel and he would take it home and he would try to build something from it. Now, this man had zero experience in art. He was not a professional artist. He had never studied art.
Really?
But he was determined to take something that represented so much pain and, you know, the ugliest parts of humanity and to create something beautiful. And he only created, I don't know if it was a dozen or so of these, and I'm lucky enough to have one. My parents actually had it and they gifted it to me for my 40th birthday years ago. But if you could see it, it is a mother with a child, and the mother looks like she's carrying some logs, and she's got a backpack, and she's got a little grocery bag, and the child has a little doll or teddy bear. And it's this beautiful, beautiful piece of art that's literally made out of something that destroyed lives. And I have it in a part of my home where I walk by it probably 30, 40 times every single day. And I always try to glance at it because it is such a reminder that no matter what life throws our way, even if it's the most painful, ugliest stuff, can we pick up those broken pieces? Can we try to build something beautiful out of it? And I think about my life and times when, you know, things just felt so out of control. The times that I stopped fighting everything and stopped trying to control everything and instead went, okay, I accept what is. Can I create something beautiful out of this? That's when I felt unstuck. That's when life sort of moved forward.
Wow.
So I just want to encourage everyone listening. when you're looking at your life and you're looking at all the awful, 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 unexpected things that life threw your way, can you pick up those pieces and just build, just slowly build, build, build? Because I believe you can take awful things life throws your way and actually create something beautiful out of them. And it's not going to look how you hoped it would. It's not going to look like that fantasy you set for your life.
That's a good thing to note.
Yes. It might look very different. Sometimes it might look even better. Sometimes not as good, but still beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing we can control. Mm-hmm. How we treat ourselves and how we choose to take those awful things and go, what good can I make of this?
Wow. Not easy.
No. And I never, ever want any of this. See, I've always, and you've known me forever, I've always tried to work on like self-growth and come up with these analogies and these visuals that'll help me. And, you know, that's why visuals, like this actual visual of the statue means so much to me.
Right.
But none of it is easy. And I've never in anything I've struggled with reached a point where I'm like, okay, I got it now. Now I'm no longer a control freak. Now I'm no longer a pessimist. Now I'm, you know, completely 100% mentally healthy at all times. Now I'm no longer a judgmental human being. Like I've never reached, and I don't think I ever will. I will never reach that perfect point. So it is a constant battle. It's a constant struggle, and it's a constant taking 3 steps back. I mean, there's been so many times in my life where life threw something awful my way and I was like, no, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm like, look at me making the best of it. And then suddenly something happens and I get stuck and consumed and depressed and let it overwhelm me and let it change the way I treat my loved ones and the way I treat myself. And I have to go, whoa, I just took like 12 steps back from all that progress I made. And then remind myself, no, we're not going to beat ourselves up over the 12 steps we took back. We're just going to remind ourselves of the lessons we learned before. We've been there before. We can get back to, you know, being kind to ourselves and being positive and thinking proactively. But yeah, it's freaking hard. It's really hard. And I feel for everyone listening to this who's like, well, this is timely because life just threw some awful news my way. Like, don't feel like you have to rush into, I'm going to make the best of this. It's now a Broadway show. Yes. Let yourself feel all that awful stuff. Like feel it. Feel it. I think we have to feel it as humans, right? But then can you, while feeling it, A, be kind to yourself? B, surrender to the fact of what is instead of fighting it. And then C, can you pick up those pieces and build something beautiful?
I feel like that's probably the most difficult thing right there, is how to know the difference between I'm making the best of it, I'm going to make the best of it, and doing what you said, picking up the pieces, making something beautiful of it. You could think of that as like, well, I'm trying to make the best of it. What's the difference?
I'm trying to think, like, that's a really good question. I think for me, I know in my gut when I'm betraying myself in the sense of like, I'm suppressing, I'm not letting myself go there. Like I can feel it in my gut, you know. I think we need to give ourselves room for that. Like feel it all, right? That whole like, I'm going to make the best of it. To me, I think of that as I'm in denial, I'm pretending, nothing's happening, right? Feel it. Feel it. Cry it. Scream it. Vent it. Journal it. Call a therapist. You know, go for a run. Whatever helps you. Punch a punching bag. Feel it. I think about even this man, Zorislav Laksar, I didn't mention his name earlier, who created these statues in Croatia. He's passed since, but I never met him. His daughter actually reached out to my mom after I first shared this statue publicly and was really thankful that, you know, she's like, my dad is not a known person. He's not famous. So she was really happy. But I picture him, just from what I've heard about him, picking up the shrapnel pieces. This is his hometown. This is happening, you know, in his neighborhoods. he is spending those days and nights when our city's being attacked in a basement, hoping that his family will survive. Right? So I'm picturing him going when things calm down, every time he went and picked up these pieces. And I'm not picturing him picking them up going, everything is great, I'm going to make a cool statue. I'm picturing him bawling his eyes out. I'm picturing him picking up the shrapnel and then next to it seeing an actual doll of somebody that unfortunately lost their life in that battle. I'm picturing him swearing and being angry. And while he was picking up the shrapnel, what else was he seeing in all that debris?
Right.
So that's the thing. Can we feel all that? Can we cry and be angry at what's happening? Like, we have to feel those human emotions. Those are healthy.
Yes.
While we're picking up those pieces and trying to build. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I want to read, I mentioned the word surrender a second ago, and I want to read something I wrote in my second book, I Can Fix This and Other Things I Told Myself While Parenting My Struggling Child. The book is about me trying to support my oldest son through his mental health struggles. And I write about how it was very hard for me to let go of fear and anxiety and all those feelings pushing me into trying to control the situation with my son, because I was worried about him. I was worried about some of the unhealthy choices he was making while he was struggling, but I was also worried that he was going to die by suicide. And I was in therapy, and my therapist kept trying to, talk to me about surrender. And my therapist's name is Paul. So I write, Paul is teaching me the art of surrender, or as I call it, the art of pretending I'm an entirely different person with an entirely different brain. What does it even mean to surrender? To me, surrender has always sounded like complacency. But maybe surrendering doesn't mean giving up. Maybe it means opening up. Maybe it means taking a breath and instead of doing, just being. Maybe it means finding peace even while sitting in uncertainty. I think the reason that I had such a hard time, and most of us have a hard time, with life throwing unexpected stuff our way and then just going, I'm going to accept it. It does feel like complacency. It feels like, this is your life. Fight for it. Like, do something. And yes, that has a time and place.
Sure.
But when I started looking at surrendering not as giving up, but opening up, that changed things for me. So let's look at surrendering to what is, to the crap life throws our way, as opening up, as finding peace in sitting in uncertainty, in, as I wrote, taking a breath and instead of doing, just being. I wrote about it in the book, how when I was dealing with my control issues with Luca, I had to realize that instead of constantly feeling like, what can I do for him? What can I do for him? And worrying about that, if I changed to who can I be for him, it was more powerful for him. And it was actually better for me as well, because it let go of that control of I just constantly need to do and fix. I can just be. I can be love. I can be a support system.
Wow, what a great perspective.
So what if that's also the mindset we take when life throws these, unexpected things our way? Instead of what can I do to fix this? And who can I be in this situation? Who can I be as I'm grieving this horrible thing that just happened, this loss? Who can I be for myself, for my family, for my loved ones when I just lost my job? Who can I be through this miscarriage? Who can I be through this awful divorce I'm going through? To me, that sounds so much more peaceful and healthy than what can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
Right.
And again, I don't think of that as passive, because even who can I be is going to take a lot of action and making really smart, healthy choices so that who I am, who I can be, is somebody I'm proud of, is somebody who's a good example to my children, is somebody who is a good, source of love for the people in my life.
Yes.
So it's not a passive thing. It's just eliminating all the exhaustion of running around constantly trying to fix everything and change everything that is not changeable.
It lets you focus on the things that are important. It shows you how to focus on the things that are important.
Yeah.
I think if you think about it that way.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think that's easy at all.
I think that, you know, when life throws bad stuff our way, we need to learn to not get stuck in that and not be complacent and, you know, pick up those pieces, focus on what we can focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing when life throws really great things our way,
Mm-hmm.
to not get stuck in that.
Sure.
Right? To keep moving forward, because it's easy to get stuck in that and make that our whole identity, our whole life.
Absolutely. I think in good times you can. You're absolutely right. Get stuck in those good things when really let's focus on like, who can I be for other people?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to give you joy.
Yep. So I guess if I was going to give an assignment, if we're going to pretend I'm a teacher.
Are we having homework?
Yeah. I think it'd be good for all of us to just think about what is it right now that feels so out of control, and what is our version of surrendering to it, not as a complacent thing, right? And what is our version with whatever we're going through of that Croatian wedding? What is our statue we want to build? I want to read one more little part that I wrote in my first book. If we don't show up and embrace what is, regardless of how many unexpected bombs are thrown our way, we'll spend the rest of our lives waiting for something we'll never reach. When what is within reach is so, so wonderful, imperfect and messy and chaotic, but wonderful.
Love that.
Let's embrace what is.
Yeah.
Because I do think otherwise we will spend the rest of our life chasing. And I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this 100%. I've spent a lot of my life chasing what I want it to look like, what I think it should look like, what the world told me it should look like. Especially, that's a big one. What the world tells us it should all look like.
Yeah, right.
What marriage should look like, what parenting should look like, what our house and finances and career should look like. And just chasing. And we're chasing something we'll never reach because it's fantasy. Instead of going, why? I'm like running. I'm literally running away from my life. I'm running away from my everyday life when, look what I have. Even when I look in those days when I was a single mom, man, I was chasing. Like I gotta, get out of this little apartment, and I don't want to wait tables for the rest of my life. And I gotta get my kids better clothes. And it's interesting now looking back, like, yes, I'm not going to pretend those weren't really hard times. But I don't live in regrets. But I do wish that I had spent more time focusing on, I am sitting in this, yes, it's a tiny room that I share with my kids, but we're playing and they feel love.
Oh.
And I'm enjoying them.
Yes.
And look at my girls' little cute curls and look at, and the funny things they're saying and just really enjoying what is instead of constantly chasing. So let's stop running, because running's exhausting and we're told for that and our knees hurt. And let's stop running and just sit with what is and build something beautiful.
I love that.
If you are listening to this and you're just really going through a hard time, I just want to send you so much love. And maybe you haven't even opened up to anybody yet, and maybe you don't even know how to express everything you're feeling, and it just feels messy and stuck and too loud and too much, and you wish you could just go to bed and wake up and everything will feel normal again. I just want to send you so much love. So much love. Both Kat and I, and everybody I know has been through their version of crap.
Right.
And you will get through it.
Nobody escapes crap.
No, unfortunately. But you will get through it. You've gone through hard things before. Maybe they weren't as hard as whatever you're going through now. You will get through it. You have managed the unmanageable before, and you will manage it again, because you're amazing. And just be really, really freaking good to yourself right now. Be really good to yourself. We love you so much. If you want immediate support, need some encouragement, you can check out my app, Hope and Humor Daily. Also, if you find ads during podcasts annoying, you can listen ad-free on the app, Hope and Humor Daily. If you ever want to call in, and it won't be live, so you don't have to, be worried about it. You can write down your question ahead of time and read it. But if you want to leave us a voicemail, occasionally we'll play a voicemail question during an episode. You can call 855-912-4175, 855-912-4175. And if you are enjoying these episodes, you can rate wherever you listen, rate and review. If you hate this podcast, please don't rate it. Just go about your business. Why take the time? Like, you don't have time for that. Don't do that.
No, definitely not.
But if you love it, take the time to rate it. Anyway, we love you all so much. I'm sending you so many hugs. I don't know. I just have a feeling that there's people listening right now who are really struggling.
Yes.
I'm no psychic, but I just feel it.
I know.
I just want to hug them all.
Me too.
Oh, we love you guys. Bye.